Griffin just raised $750 million for future investments. And let's put that question to you, Nick. Is Bob Iger jumping into the metaverse validation for the space, or is he just jumping on the bandwagon?
I think it is great validation. Bob is obviously an enormous presence in the industry of entertainment generally, and increasingly the media side of the landscape is focused on creating a digital theme park, and analog to what they've had in the physical for years. Companies like Roblox have pioneered things that are now being called metaverses, but have existed in gaming for a long time. There's social presence, there's identity, there's increasingly other forms of media like music and movies happening inside of these virtual worlds. So yeah, I think it's a great endorsement for the space and the first of many big steps you'll see of traditional media companies increasingly focusing on this opportunity.
Do traditional media companies then have to become gaming companies? It was such a big deal, Nick, when Netflix announced gaming and it denied that it was getting into it for years. Do all media companies have to be thinking about gaming now in 2022 and beyond?
I think it really is a strategic imperative across the board. I think that some will approach it in a way that looks at like Disney's strategy historically, which is to license its intellectual property to gaming companies like Electronic Arts and others to go make the most of the Star Wars video game. But I think increasingly you'll see media companies see it as too important to outsource that opportunity to third-party developers and rather just own the best-in-class capabilities. Now, whether to buy or build, that's a complicated decision, and it obviously depends on the specifics. But for many, it will make much more sense to buy than build.
That's a great point. I'm so glad you bring that up because our Emily Chang, the host of Bloomberg Technology, was just at South by Southwest speaking with the former president and COO of Nintendo America, talking about who is best positioned to benefit and to stake out this claim in the metaverse. And of course, they talked about the company formerly known as Facebook. Let's take a listen about whether Facebook is in prime position.
I'm not a buyer of that idea. I don't think that their current definition is going to be successful.
Why not?
Why do I say that? I say that because first, and I don't know if anyone from Facebook is here, but you have to admit that Facebook itself is not an innovative company.
And his reason for Facebook not being an innovative company is that because it can always buy another innovative company, right? Or it can follow other companies' innovations and do it at scale. So my question to you is, does a company need to be innovative? Or if it has the firepower, it can just buy it up? Isn't that good enough for the metaverse?
Well, first of all, I disagree profoundly that Facebook is not an innovative company. I mean, the innovation in social, you have to go back to when Google was on the top of the digital heap and look at Facebook with Newsfeed and all of the various advertising innovations that created, the best targeting and measurement available to digital advertisers. It's an incredibly innovative company. When it comes to the metaverse and gaming, though, it is increasingly important that the teams continue to evolve these games. These are living, breathing organisms almost. If you think about the live services that are games today, it's no longer a piece of packaged software that Electronic Arts ships. It's an ongoing service. The FIFA video game for $50 or $60 sitting on the shelf of Best Buy is a thing of the past. Today, it's more like Fortnite or Apex Legends, these ongoing free-to-play live services where the teams are responsible for continuing to engage players in an ongoing basis.
You're describing every parent's nightmare right now, by the way.
That's like literally Scarlett's dealing with that day in and day out. Hey, before we let you go, I wanted to ask specifically about the $1 billion that you now have at your disposal to deploy across the industry. I mean, we know Griffin Gaming Partners from such companies as backing Discord, AppLovin, and more. Where's this next round of money going? What interests you? Where is the money to be made?
This is the largest singularly focused gaming investment vehicle on the planet now. There's just been overwhelming interest from our limited partners to get more exposure to the explosive growth in gaming. Areas that I'm specifically interested in, Web3 gaming, so blockchain-enabled games in which players can actually own the virtual goods that they're spending money on, is probably the most exciting thematic on our radar right now. But we invest across the whole ecosystem, platforms that are social like Discord, infrastructure, technology, but then games themselves. Over half of the fund is still in old school content, things like mobile game developers building content where we have a lot of data to look at to predict the future. We think that all ships have potential to rise in a market that's $180 billion and growing.